look at me, everybody, I'm driving. Wow. You may not think that that's such a phenomenal thing that needs to be noted, but increasingly it may just be. If not for our sake, then perhaps for our children's generation's sake, or my yet-to-be-born grandchildren's sake, that there is a human being physically operating this vehicle. Because I think we all know where things are trending right now. And this is an observation that I made on Twitter the other day and was surprised to see that apparently not many other people had thought of it. But yes, one of the effects of this car ramming into crowds of people trend that we see going on right now is we know exactly what the car manufacturers are going to end up doing as a result of this. I mean, first it's going to start with the things that are going to be built into the cars so that, if it detects you're going to ram into a crowd of people, it will cut the engine, of course, or some sort of safety feature like that. And that's the first step towards introducing more and more of those kinds of overrides, and then the more of the automatic control, until bing, bada bing, bada boom, you're in the driverless future. And we know that the driverless technology is already here, more or less. It's just, how do you convince people to take away their ability to steer? And what an interesting metaphor that is for the political situation generally. So I think it is, again, I think it's pretty obvious where this is trending. And that's to say, this is obviously one of the effects. One of the things they're going to pull out of their bag of tricks. The solution to the problem of people being run over is, hey, we can stop it. And what reasonable person will be able to disagree with that? So, as we know, this is exactly how these things happen. And please note that it does not matter whether or not these car rammings are staged or real or whatever it is. It's simply using the hype that's generated from them to bring a solution that obviously already is in the wings. And if you don't understand, I mean, again, I think it should be quite obvious, the idea of removing control, your own physical control over your own objects and property, so that it can be commandeered by some AI or whatever. That should be quite obvious why that is a potential large problem for the future, and for a generation like my son's generation that'll grow up having seen us driving around when they were children, but perhaps not having that option when they get old enough to drive themselves. I have remarked on it a few times to my son, watching the big trucks go by. Oh, you like the trucks? Yeah. You want to be a truck driver when you grow up? Yeah. Well, maybe it's such a thing won't exist when you grow up, son. It's a strange world to think about living in. But again, if you need more elaboration of why this is potentially a bad thing, I will ask you to revisit my Crashes of Convenience on Michael Hastings for a refresher on that story, and the fact that it was that well-known conspiracy theorist, former counter-terror czar. And as a side note, why is it czar? Counter-terror czar Richard Clarke talking about how, well, the CIA and others can hack into your car. And talking about that in the wake of Hastings. Again, crazy stuff, but crazy times. So, and it's not like we needed Richard Clarke to tell us that. We already know it. But anyway, still very interesting. So, here I am, physically driving my car, choosing when to start and when to stop and which way to turn and how to go. But for how long? That is the question. Well, perhaps that is, like some other things, a matter of consumer choice and what people actually will or will not go for, in the same way that the bovine growth hormone milk has been eradicated from the store shelves because people learned to not buy it. They didn't want to touch that monstrosity, and so it's not there anymore. Could a similar thing happen with the cars? Well, not if they bring in legislation, not if the government crusades with some legislation to save us all from the car rammings, right? Anyway, an interesting and complex topic. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. James Corbett, CorbettReport.com.